Hi everyone, it's Bitcoin here from
The Big Jabowski.
back with another season of Grand Arena after spectacularly ending my last season in some horrible RNG, but still making it to Kyber. We are now going at another season, this time for the first time in Division 1. So it's going to be a really interesting week for me, mostly because pretty much most of my opponents have at least 500k to 1 mil GP over me. If we take my current opponent, John the Brave here from the guild Death Star Rebel Wranglers, then he has 5.4 mil GP. I'm at 4.6 mil. So pretty interesting gap there. Now, of course, he's not as represented in his arena rank. He does not have a General Skywalker team, but he does have a fair bit of relics. So that's how we get matched up. And he has substantially more Gear 12 characters than I do. So yeah, interesting matchup. And this whole week all around, I have a lot of opponents who have, like, I also have a few who have like 5.7 mil, I believe. And then also quite a lot of lifetime score, like this guy, for example. So it's not like they're walkovers. Some of them are simply, in this case, this guy actually has a General Skywalker team but isn't running it. That's also pretty interesting. But yeah, all around, interesting week. And I'm looking forward to seeing if I'm able to make it to Kyber in Division 1. I don't really foresee a whole lot of change, I guess from Division 2, other than that I'll be fighting a lot of these big rosters occasionally. Now, I haven't actually looked at defeats too much. I think I completed some of the fleet stuff. I'll have to win one with 2 Rebel pilots. I have no idea. That's probably not going to happen because I put my CLS on defense. I actually have Grievous on offense, as you'll see in a moment, so maybe I'll be able to make some progress over here, though I have no clue what I want to use it against. So yeah, let's just get into the fight and see what John the Brave has done. So John the Brave has done exactly what I expected. I'm going to switch the chat over here to avoid all the spam. So he's done pretty much exactly what I expected, which is an inability to clear my General Skywalker team. He did try twice and actually got reasonably far. This team was just here as filler. And then over here in the top, I didn't really set a whole lot of strong stuff on defense. Most of the people who have been watching my Grand Arena videos for a while know I like to occasionally set pretty tough defense. But this opponent has set identical defense for the past 9-ish Grand Arenas, I think, with like maybe one like lower gear team in variation, like a Gear 12 team he might occasionally swap out. So in this case, he actually took 2 attempts on my CLS team. Then these 2 were both one-shot, which is not too surprising considering he did still have some strong teams on offense. And then he actually needed 3 attempts on my fleet. So in this case, because I saw his negotiator was 5 stars, I figured he wasn't going to make it in one go. And it actually took him 3 attempts to get through, which he did still end up doing in the end, so pretty impressive there. Then as for his defense, like I said, he always sets the same. He sets his High Relic Grievous Team on defense. He sets his Night Sisters with a High Relic Mother Talzin that I need to be pretty worried about with soft counters, that is. Then his Darth Revan team. And down here he has his CLS. In this case, the one thing he changed up was putting his First Order over here. So normally seen, he put some kind of weird Padme mix. In this case, he didn't. So he either has that in the back or he kept it for offense. I'll have to see about that. And normally seen in the back, my expectation is that he set his Geos, which have a Relic 7 Geobrute Alpha, I believe, and a High Relic Spy. So that should be interesting. And then he also actually has his JKR on defense still, normally seen. So all in all, he sets a really strong defense. He has actually never full cleared anyone in the entire history that I can see. So I don't really understand why he keeps repeating the same pattern. I think he wins like 1 out of 3, sometimes 2. Nah, it's probably about 1 out of 3 matches. But yeah, just keeps going with the exact same thing. I don't really understand. But let's fight it and see how things go. So the first match, I will be beating his CLS team. I'm saying beating, but I don't know yet. And I actually want to try something a little different. I have plenty of teams on offense, including my Night Sisters, because I just didn't need to set a whole lot on defense. But I actually want to see how my Geos perform, especially considering there's no Chewie, there's no C-3PO, so there shouldn't be any exposes. So I want to see if these guys are able to pull it off. I don't have that much pressure to full clear him, considering he got through half of the map and made several mistakes while doing that. So I want to experiment a little bit. It's not often that I get to fight some kind of CLS variation like this, so I might as well give that a shot. Now he's going to go first, and depending on who he stuns and where he reduces turn meter, that's actually the worst possible stun for him. Stunning my brute, that's pretty tragic. So I want to ability block R2-D2 here. Let's just go with the basic here. There we go. I also want to ability block Old Ben because he does the AoE turn meter removal, which can be pretty nasty. So I'm actually going to call in Poggle here for the double ability block chance, and that saved me there. And now I get to do my cleanse. So R2-D2 is not ability blocked anymore. Stormtrooper Han I don't need to be too concerned about. So let's go for R2 here. So there's still plenty of firepower on the team, even with no Chewie there. They're just gear 12, so that makes it quite doable. Unfortunately, no ability block here. That's going to end up hurting me because I don't have any cleanses available now with Old Ben as well. So it's actually going quite nice for his team. Let's dispel that. I have to start trying to take a turn soon so that I can regain control of the fight. Otherwise, I'm going to end up in a lot of pain. Now I can attack here nicely because my Geospy is under stealth, so I don't get countered. Let's focus on R2 again. I'm making progress. I just need to get Geobrute Alpha to take a turn basically, and then I should be alright. The nice thing is that without Chewie, the burst damage that they do is substantially lower, so that puts me in a much more secure position, and that's why I wanted to try out this team. There is no stealth for now, but it's whatever. I'll add some exposes. Take out Han, and then I want to stall on these two as long as possible, so that I can maybe try to recover banners. It seems unlikely, but I can give it a shot. Let's not let CLS take any turns. So finally, my first cleanse of the fight with Geobrute Alpha. Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough to try to get to full banners here. It's probably not going to happen, but I wasn't really expecting to in the first place. That Old Ben AoE there got me real good. That one really stalled out the fight a lot. Now feeding a lot of turn meter to them here, and again Old Ben. I don't really want to tackle him because he's one of the tanks. He's a bit, like, he doesn't hit much. I can stall on him nicely. But at the end of the day, all of them do assist. And I love the AoE offense down here, actually. It's kind of nice to make it last longer. And Stormtrooper Han here, tanking very nicely. Just at gear 12 with the Zeta there. So that's actually something I should be paying attention to. So I'm going to take out Old Ben in a sec here. Let me just do this one still. Okay. I'll get rid of the defense down. I could stall a little bit. I'll try to get one more heal in. Geobrute Alpha, and then do a big spec with Spy that's hopefully going to get the job done. I had already did it. I thought I would need to do it in 2 goes. Well, that works. Just trying to be a bit conscious of time there in case my Spy wouldn't crit, for example, and I wouldn't take him down and I would heal him back up. I wanted to get 2 chances. Okay. See, first order, we're just going to go with resistance here. It allows me to save my stronger teams for the back, to take a look at what exactly I need to take down. So that's alright. I'm going to undersize this one. It pulls out my R2 in case he has his General Skywalker on defense, but a General Skywalker team has a gear, what is it, gear 11 General Skywalker and gear 12 clones, I believe. So I think he used it on offense, I'm not sure. But I don't think he will have it on defense, and even if he does, considering the gear levels, I can put in another 5th character like C-3PO or Shaq. So let's do this one. So how about Arena going crazy? Like, fighting a First Order team like this feels a bit surreal now, considering most of the people in my arena so far appear to be going for Kylo, but some First Rays are starting to pop up as well. But people definitely seem to love their Kylos. And I've been pretty busy, so for me it's been a matter of trying to catch up a little bit, seeing what people have tried out so far, what they've been using. And it's shaken up a lot of stuff, which makes it tricky if you're a bit limited on time, but you're also a territory war officer, and you see all of these different variations come around of all the different teams that the people in your guild will need to be prepared for. It's also interesting for them, of course, because they face a lot of variations in their own arena, so it's in their best interest to do well. But yeah, just a lot of options makes it quite tricky. Let's stun this guy before he... or not. Who cares about tenacity down? Base resist chance, that's where it's at. I'm stealthed, so I'm gonna go for this guy. Who do I want to stun? But yeah, where was I before this guy rudely interrupted me by not being stunned? Yeah, the new meta. It's crazy. I think I'm gonna be ready in probably, like, ready for the event, I mean, probably in about 3 to 4 weeks. Hoping around there. I don't intend to spend any money on the game. I have not done that. And I don't see any reason to change it, especially with the complete lack of communication from this company. If they did a great job at communication, I would actually consider spending money on this game. But the fact that they're not makes me totally uninterested to give them a cent. So I'm just enjoying being free to play. It's very nice. I see a lot of people get frustrated about the game, and oftentimes they are spenders, or they are people who are not in a competitive free-to-play position. But if you are in a competitive free-to-play position because you make good decisions for your roster, then and you're not spending any money, then yeah, you can complain, but you've got what you've got. So that one should be 61. Let's see what he did in the back. It should be pretty similar to what he's done before, unless he's going crazy on me. He is Johnny the Brave after all. Yeah, we've got Geos and JKR. So I don't know. I don't understand why he keeps doing this, but yeah, I guess if it works. Well, it doesn't, that's the thing. So, some interesting options then. There's 5 very strong teams here, more or less, considering the relic. So, actually, if you paid attention, he has 0 relic characters on offense. How about that? So, I don't know, maybe that's his thing. Maybe he just likes to put all of his relic characters on defense. But that's his strategy. So, what I now need to do is basically clear... I think if I even clear one of these 2 zones, like this one, I should already win. So, this is... let's say 300 extra banners, then we are tied. If I get 60 on both of these battles. So as long as I clear 2, and especially these 2, so I get the zone bonus, then I'm already good. So, but considering the teams he has left, and considering the teams I have left, I'm going to need to do something crazy to try to get through all of it, probably. So let's look at the options that I have. I have my own Darth Revan team. I have my Padme team, my Grievous team, Jedi Knight Revan, Night Sisters, and Traya. So that's more or less it. I have one more team that I should need, basically, but considering the fact that he has a lot more relics than me on defense, I may need a team to sort of back me up. So looking at the options, you would imagine that a Darth Revan mirror match makes the most sense, but for my scenario it actually does not, because his JKR with Relic GK in there is actually a fair bit stronger than my JKR team. I think I'll still be able to win, but I would like to use my JKR team up against his Grievous team as an option. I'm not sure if I want to do it. Either I use Darth Revan there and I use JKR in the mirror, or I use JKR over here. But he does have quite a lot of relics. I don't think in recent memory that I fought a Grievous team at these relic levels with my JKR team. And that relic droidica is a big concern against Jolee. So that might not end up being a very healthy choice. But I'll have to see about that. But either way, using Darth Revan in a mirror here would mean that I cannot clear. So that's not going to be a good choice. I think the one very obvious option for me that I'm going to start with here actually is a Geonosian team. Like I said, he has a Relic 7 Geobrood Alpha. So that thing, it's like crazy probably. Then this Spy with 82% crit chance, no walkover either. So I'm going to try to beat this with my Traya, Scion, and Nest. I have no idea what's going to happen here. If I'm able to take them out, these guys are obviously pretty low, but Spy and Geobrood Alpha together are already pretty savage. And there's no real other place for me to use my Traya team constructively. So I'll be trying these guys out and seeing how it works. So that's sort of an elimination I can already do before evaluating everything else. And there's not really another team I would prefer to send in their place anyways. Like even if I have Padme left over, for example, which isn't going to happen, so I don't need to bring up that option. But yeah, I would prefer going in with these guys. So let's do that. Hopefully don't end up preloading it. Because of the lag, I could not see what kind of hit I got over on Nest there. Oof, that was Spy's first special. Still alive. Chances are this is going to be just Nest towards the end, I think. But we'll see. That's going quite alright. Wow, Scion actually survived. That's didn't think he was already going to get to a special. Nice. Oh wow, I took off Spy there. Okay, then I'm in good shape. Nice. That's substantially easier than I expected, actually. And there we go. That's 59. Okay. Well, if all battles could go like this, then I'm a happy guy. Okay, so then we have JKR, and then over here we have these three teams. Now I also have my Grievous team. I think for Grievous, considering the fact that I have Watt for offense, it's probably going to make most sense for me to use Grievous up against Night Sisters. I don't have a nuke, like a Grievous nuke team that I could use against the Darth Revan team, nor would I really want to. I could try to use it against the JKR team, because if JKR is not in the hands of a player, it's usually going to do stupid stuff. And this Jolee is very poorly modded, so that could actually be an interesting fight. I have not done it before, but it should be somewhat straightforward. The only concern there is GK. Even if I put buff immunity on him, there are many sources of cleansing on this team, so I feel like I would get stuck behind him a fair bit. But that could be an interesting option actually, that I am currently heavily considering just for the entertainment factor. Even if I have to two-shot this team and I pick off one extra team over here, then I still win the match. So I think I might end up doing that just for the, you know, just to see what it's like, I guess. Using Grievous over here, it's very sloppy. The Watt tech is very nice though, to make sure Night Sisters don't revive. But Watt would definitely end up dying against that Mother Talzin. She is very, very strong. So let's just give it a shot. Let's do Grievous up against JKR, just to see what it's like. I'm sure I could probably watch a video online somewhere with people doing this with ease, and perhaps me spectacularly failing it, but where's the fun in that? Honestly, like, I've never looked into doing this counter, simply because when do you ever get to do this? It doesn't make sense. Unless you're, of course, in Arena, I suppose, and this is the team that you've got, and you face a lot of JKR teams, then I guess it makes sense. So let's see how this goes. Yeah. Now hopefully my Grievous can get a Terminator train going quickly. It is a JKR lead. He's going to have very solid damage. That using the shield, like the taunting tech first, is not that useful because they mark my watt anyway. So I should have actually gone for the weapon tech first there. That was a bad play on my part. But then again, without the taunting tech on my Magna, I might not make it through much at all. Let's hope I can keep my watt alive here, but considering the relics on the team, chances might be pretty slim. Oh, let's get going. Okay, so that's a lot of target lock. We're already landing here. That's pretty good. Let's try and get a stun on, I think, Bastilla, so she doesn't dispel my taunt. Watt's still hanging in there. It's just a gear 12 watt, but if he can manage to stay alive for a while, that will be a big help. Okay, that's JKR down. Yeah, there he went. Too bad. I should have actually done the AoE there, but looks like this will already take care of Jolie. B2 taking out Jolie, how about that? I should actually try to get my kills with Grievous, because that's what defeat is telling me to. Keeping Magna Guard healed up here first and foremost. I would prefer if he didn't go down, because then it's going to get a bit bloody. Yeah, too bad about my good friend Watt. Would have liked to get an extra tech out. So this immediately, because of all the foresight and the evasion, it feeds my B2 yet another turn. Let's keep Magna Guard alive here. At some point, JKR is going to get another direct focus. And I hope it doesn't go on Grievous, because they do still have a lot of buffs. But my Magna is going down here. That's unfortunate. Yep, there he goes. Okay, so this should be a double kill then with Grievous. And then I just have these guys to clear out. So GK. It's not going to be pretty on banners at all. I can probably still top off my B2. But fun to give it a shot. Now with Bastilla gone, he finally loses his very annoying counter chance. And there we go. 52, yeah. That's super ugly. But interesting to do nonetheless. And I'm happy I ended up putting the taunting tech, because with just a weapon tech, I mean, Jolie was always going to get singled out by me anyways. It's more of a defensive thing, I suppose. So, then over here there are still 3 teams left. Another thing I could consider is trying out Padme up against Grievous, but generally very sloppy if you can't get to B2 in time. So I'd prefer not to do that. I don't want to do Padme against Darth Revan. I could do that, but I think I want to try out my Night Sister team against Darth Revan again. I have the opportunity to. I only need to clear one more team here, and if I have Darth Revan as an option, I can definitely do that. So I'll probably end up doing that. And then I'll have my Darth Revan up against his Grievous team, and then I'll have my JKR as backup against Grievous, just in case, and then I will have my Padme team against his Night Sisters, and that should be fine. So the reason why I want to do Night Sisters here is because his Darth Revan team is very slow. He does have stupidly high relics on his Darth Revan, but just 267 speed. And then Bastilla over here is also very slow, I believe 261. So again, it's going to be ugly on banners, but I'm honestly not concerned about it. I don't really aim for top ranks. As long as I get to Kyber, I'm fine with it. It's, for me, a lot more about having fun. So let's see if we can pull this off. I've done this a couple of times against different variations. It's usually nicer if Bastilla isn't there, because then the foresight isn't there and you can get a lot more stuff done. But in this case, she is there, so let's see what we can do. So Spirit, Zombie, and this is the team that I'll be going with. So let's take a look. Now we've got 3 debuffs here, which significantly slows down my Asajj. And I should have actually done the math a bit better there, because right now my first turn should have been Asajj, dispel the debuffs, and then I would be able to immediately go for Bastilla Fallen. In this case, because I didn't do the math, I actually fell short a little bit here. I did it in my head correctly, I thought, but it looks like I was off. So I'm not considering this correctly. So now what I'll need to do is try to still drop Sith Trooper to low enough. That did happen, so that Mother Talzin can take a follow-up turn. And then I can kill him, and I do still have the foresight here on Bastilla. So what I could try to do is do a group attack, because Sith Trooper, it doesn't really matter if he goes down or not, and do as much damage as possible. And now I'll do the AoE, just trying to sort of recover this fight as best I can. The only issue is making Malak taunt. I don't want to do that, but I'll have to if I want to try to get through this team. So that's him down. Now I'm going to stack some more Plague on Bastilla, I think. It's strange that she got stunned. I'm guessing Darth Revan is missing... Oh no, it's because I managed to land the Plague at the same time. So that's actually very nice for me. Now HK is pretty annoying here because he can do an AoE that strips all of my banners, but there's nothing really I can do about that, so that's quite alright. So the only interesting move here is the only possible move is to go for Malak until I manage to get rid of that shock, which is probably just going to happen through some kind of death mark. Kill, there we go. That's Bastilla down. That's both of the revives triggered. I will definitely heal here, I think. Although it's really just Mother Talzin who's missing a little bit. Oldaka is in just fine shape, so I'll stick with this. That should be a kill. Okay, now we're going to focus on Darth Revan, do a little bit of Death Storm here. It's nice because if Mother Talzin's dead, she cannot be death marked anyways, but she does always assist. So maybe there's a chance that I'll manage to preserve her banners. It looks like it. Now we can do a nice heal. Though I am like basically drainable by Malak on all 5 of my characters, so I hope it's not going to be Oldaka. Let's oh yeah, because of the shock I didn't look carefully there. Okay, the stun there is very important, or my Mother Talzin was going to be out of here. Zombie back at -2 stacks. Let's stack some more Plague here. Try to get a heal in. I still have about a minute to take this guy down. And there we go. Nice big hit in the end. 54. It's actually quite alright. It's what you might expect with a bot main team, for example, as well. Unless you are super skilled at it and lucky. So happy I went with that choice in the end, even though I didn't do the math correctly, which was a bit dumb. But I've heard reports of people going in against this actually not ending up in the right scenario or missing the first hit on one of these characters. And you can still end up okay. It's mostly the combination of the Plague with the stuns that can save you in a lot of situations. So yeah, not an ideal fight, but I guess we learned some things from that. Always do the math before going in to check whether your Asajj will actually go first if Sith Empire Trooper is there. I wanted to make a video about this. I've made a little calculator as well where you can check this, as a lot of people will soon be moving their speeds off of these 2 characters to move them onto the new meta characters, and that means these are going to be slower and thus more accessible to Night Sister counters, which can be very attractive if you play it correctly, especially if people split off their Bastilla Fallen to stay with the Triumvirate. then having a good Night Sister counter can give you 58 banners against the Darth Revan team, and it's a really big punch up with Night Sisters against Darth Revan. So really attractive counter to use. Now, up against Night Sisters then, let's do that one next. Use my Padme. I considered very briefly to bring my Bounty Hunters with Wat up against these Night Sisters. And yeah, it's just not happening. That Mother Talzin, she's going to one-shot several of my characters if I don't manage to ability block her. So that would be a pretty painful endeavor that I don't want to get into. Let's do GK and maybe Shaq so she can potentially top someone's protection off for that extra banner. I like it a little bit more than C-3PO, who just adds a lot of courage, but Asajj dispels that, like all the buffs that he adds and stuff. So I really prefer Shaq here. Also for the dispel on basic, especially when she has retribution, it just constantly returns, so it's very, very handy. So I always like to call Padme with the assists because she immediately gives everyone that protection up, and that basically allows me to not get that initial plague from Mother Talzin. So that's one kill there. It wasn't two because Zombie was one of the two dying. I thought Talia would go down there, but apparently Talia makes her own rules. So now it comes, everyone counters, that's Talzin out of here. That's Daka hopefully gone soon before she manages to fill up her turn metering. Yeah, this is always the annoying part. The part where Asajj comes in with the second cleanse, this is where you lose the banners. Especially if Talzin now does an AoE, which fortunately she didn't, so I need to recover banners on Anakin. Should try to remember that one. So let's kill Daka first. She's caused me enough pain, take her out. Alright, I'm going to leave Talia here, put no retribution with GK hopefully. If I remember that. Focus on Asajj. Yeah, Anakin's missing too much protection there from that group attack, I fear. But let's see. So, yeah, he's missing quite a bit. Should have maybe gone for GK first, but GK is going to get a lot of hits in still, probably. So let's just keep focusing on Zombie as much as possible. And see if we can get 60 banners out of this. 2 turns until the next heal. No retribution. So this obviously doesn't work as well if Spirit is there, depending on the gear on the Spirit, of course, but Spirit has this very nice habit of hitting way too hard. Fortunately, you can keep Foresight on GK much of the time, but yeah, Talia's hits are just so low. So just one more heal on GK and then I should be okay. So everyone else should be full. If it didn't work out, then I feel like I have monumentally wasted my time. One more turn for Shaq, and then I'm good to go. Okay, I can already target Talia with this one, why not? And that should be a nice clean 60. And I'm finally up against Darth Revan, up against Grievous with my Darth Revan. Now, a lot of people say that this is so easy. Honestly, this fight can go so ridiculously wrong. It's really easy if you manage to line up the turns nicely where you can drop someone to under half health without killing them, and then you throw HK's grenades to one-shot their Grievous. that's the perfect scenario, right? But in practice, especially with this Droidica here, and it being super unpredictable exactly how much damage you're going to be doing against various characters, this can go ridiculously wrong. And I feel like I'm just jinxing myself here, but no, seriously, it's people underestimate this fight. They really feel like, oh yeah, well, Darth Revan was meta, so Grievous can't really hurt you. But there's a reason why the Grievous nuke team exists. And obviously it doesn't use Grievous lead, so there's no death mark on him, but despite that, it can still totally go wrong. Now the tricky part especially, it's actually kind of visual. The fact that Magna Guard, for example, has low health but very high protection, while you're attacking him and giving him dealing a lot of damage, you feel like the progress is pretty slow, but then all of a sudden when you hit their health from all of these droids, your damage is way more than you thought it would be because of the progress that you just made, if that makes sense. So here it makes a lot of sense to start with the Force Storm to get the shock so that there's no turn meter gains, so that there's no annoying taunts from various characters. And this Relic 4 Droidica, for example, here, he's definitely going to be taking someone out when the time comes. Unless Malak will be the only one taunting, but that seems pretty unlikely. So I want to get the fear on Grievous here to avoid his AoE. And actually I got the kill there on the Magna Guard, but fortunately Grievous didn't take a turn. But that's a first turn wasted, where I could have potentially gotten the AoE off to kill Grievous, and it didn't work out. So it's really easy for it to go wrong. Let's keep focusing on B2. And you're going to see again, he's lost his protection now. That's very nice, but trying to get him to the exact right amount of health so that I can deathmark Grievous, that's really tricky. So let's just focus on B1 here actually. Get the double hit in, lower the stacks a little bit. Now again, their Droidica here is untouchable for me. Hopefully this... Yeah, I thought it might just about do it, but now HK isn't going to take a turn anytime soon, and I'm lagging like crazy. So without him taking a turn, this is not super useful for me. Would have been nice if I could... Ah, there we go. Now it lines up nicely. Thought he was going to beat my Darth Revan in a turn there, but he did not. So Malak's next dispel should definitely go to Droidica here, who might already get to roll again. So let's try and kill him here. Perfect. And that should be fine. Draining B1 for 1 health is so amazing. So you definitely have tools in this team to make sure that, like with the fear, even if you accidentally kill someone, to stop Grievous from taking that turn. But it can go wrong. Just don't ever underestimate this match just because you have the stronger team. I've actually had this end up with just my Malak standing, for example, just because things totally went the wrong way and you deal more damage than you imagine you would. So it can be a tricky fight, don't underestimate it. I've said it 5 times now, it's alright. So on defense then, Thrawn Geos, how nice of him. Now I have my Malevolence as an option. It's an option I do not enjoy. It's an option I don't want to use. Though I do have a lot of crit avoidance. So it's actually worth considering. With all the crit avoidance I have, I could stop myself from being shot out by the Geos as long as I can keep the Hyena Bomber taunting. But I personally feel like I have a lot more faith in my Akbar fleet than the Malevolence for this job. Just because I can get my taunt up before he starts doing too much, and then from there on out I have plenty of damage. The Malevolence fleet I feel like lacks a little bit in damage. But hey, let's do something different. Let's send the Malevolence. And then we can take it from there. Let's see what kind of lineup I want to use. Arena, Vulture, Sunfac probably. Go with this, and then I guess IG as the last ship. Also a nice option is to put in your own Millennium Falcon so that it's hidden behind all the Vulture droids and they first need to kill all of those. But honestly, if that's your strategy, then you're going to be bleeding banners like crazy anyways, and I don't feel like it's going to be a very good fight for you in terms of banners, and you should just not be using the fleet in the first place. Now I'm way lower on GP than he is here, but that shouldn't really hold me back. And if it does, we have a cleanup fleet, so that's alright. So, buzz droids on, I think I want to do soldier first. And probably going to do this one just so I put offense down for the first assist. I could, like, people tend to like to start with this one if needed, but in this case there are no debuffs yet, so up against these Geos, I didn't hit Spy. That was actually my main target there. So let's try to stun Spy. He's a dodgy dude today. Let's just take out Soldier then. Just going to call in my own soldier for now. Yeah, another reason I like my Malevolence fleet is because my Rebels fleet over this one, I mean, is simply because I have more ability to recover some banners with Biggs, and with the Hound's Tooth he can stay pretty high, and I have a capital ship that can actually heal me. So because of that I prefer those. But let's just do something different. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's being so slow. Maybe you have some kind of update or app running in the back. Not going to check it now. Okay, so a nice number of stacks of overcharge. This should get the job done. 59, yeah, it's just lower than I would have liked, but I'm sure I could have played it a lot better, so no point in blaming the fleet there. So final score 1907. I one-shot all of his teams. It's not a particularly high score, but then again he set a lot on defense, and the Geos, for example, is like a 5 banner loss. The Night Sisters thing is a 5 banner loss, so yeah. Well, I'm satisfied with it. This defense worked exactly the way I wanted it to. He could have definitely taken out this team if he would have kept more for offense. I just don't understand how he thought this was going to work. If I were him, I would have put these strong teams in the front here to put a lot more pressure on me and not give me the easy option to take out these weaker teams first and then see everything else that's left. So that would have been smarter on his behalf, but yeah, he doesn't change up his defense really. Anyways, that's my first round. I hope you all have a great first round, a great first week, great season, and I'll see you all again soon for another Grand Arena video.